Around 100 million years ago, Earth is in a pronounced Cretaceous warm phase. Sea level stands markedly higher than today. Shallow shelf seas advance far into the continents. Many coastlines are young and intricate. Permanent ice sheets are absent, yet at the poles there are seasonal light and dark periods and regionally cooler zones. The Cretaceous takes its name from massive, light-colored chalk deposits, formed from the shells of microscopic marine organisms, including coccolithophores, in warm, shallow seas, and preserved today as chalk cliffs. At roughly approximately 100 million years ago, we stand at the transition from the upper early Cretaceous to the early late Cretaceous, late Albian to early Cenomanian. In this span, decisive trends set in. Further marine transgressions, active plate boundaries with newly opening oceans, and the spread of early flowering plants which alter food webs and the roots of herbivores. Along coasts and deltas, the tide curve sets the pulse. Flood brings food to the edges. Ebb lays paths bare. An inland sea now divides the former supercontinent into multiple coasts. In quiet summers, the water lies layered. Below, oxygen grows scarce. Above, the light remains. Tiny organisms grow to the rhythm of nutrient supply and sink like fine dust to the bottom. At times, entire basin parts tip. Dark strata mark phases when the ocean breathes less and stores more. Then, the system calms again, and the stratification returns. Along young mid-ocean ridges, the seafloor arches upward. That makes the basins shallower and keeps them warm. At continental margins, rivers collect dust and volcanic ash. There, the water grows murkier, but richer in nutrients. Productive zones migrate like bands along the coast. In such windows, life thickens. Schools draw tighter. Scavengers and hunters follow the edges where currents break. Between coasts and interior lie narrow transitions, shallow channels where the water slows, bars of pale sand, low islands of rootwork. There, what the day brings accumulates. Fine silt shines. Insects draw thin threads through the air. From the undergrowth, old leaves fall in strips and new shoots push beneath them. Botanically, the picture remains mixed. Conifers, ferns, and horsetails shape forests and banks, while angiosperms gain ground in many regions. Faster growth cycles, fruits, and seeds change the availability and quality of food and shift the vertical tiers of browsing. This is the Cretaceous, the Earth 100 million years ago. The stage, not of the strongest, but of the best adapted. As the Cretaceous settles into its rhythm, the primeval supercontinent is long gone. Pangaea has broken into plates over millions of years. Seaways reach deep into the landmasses, and coastlines fray. The world now resembles ours more than the old supercontinent. More edges, more transitions, more room for ecological islands. In this geometry, dinosaurs prevail not as a single formula for success, but as many solutions at once. In the shade of dense forests, Nodosaurus traces its paths. Medium-sized, compact, with bony plates and spines along back and flanks. The head stays low. The mouth probes the ground and the lower shrub layers. The armor is not for display but an economical answer. Osteoderms in leathery skin spread blows and bites over a broader area to prevent puncture wounds. The lateral spines makes it more difficult to grasp the up to 6 meters long and 2.5 to 4 tons heavy ornithischia. Built this way, it invests less in flight and can position proactively. Here, in North America, around 100 million years ago, the summers Nodosaurus experiences are humid and warm. The winters, mild. Along river courses and coastal plains, humidity is high. Forests of conifers and ginkgo relatives are threaded with a carpet of ferns and young angiosperms. In the understory windows, plant food stands very dense, yet sunlight reaches the forest floor only briefly. Nodosaurus's teeth and jaws point precisely to this ground-level, fibrous fare. Flat, leaf-like occlusal surfaces in dense rows efficiently reduce soft plant material. Soft shoots, fern fronds, seed heads of low angiosperms. The chewing motion is more cutting than grinding. The hefty trunk houses a long digestive tract. Time teases apart what the teeth cannot. The movement appears damped and calm. The torso stays nearly horizontal while the legs do the work. Thanks to its armor, Nodosaurus needs no quick steps. It saves energy through even pace and minimal vertical motion. The tail serves as counterweight, not as an active weapon. It stabilizes the line from hip to shoulder. In short windows of abundance after rainfall, the menu shifts. Soft shoots push up, sporangia open, seeds loosen. In the understory of North America's Cretaceous forests, it is not speed that counts, but constancy. Nodosaurus stays close to its food, close to water, close to shade. It is somewhat different in drier regions. Patagonia, in the middle to late Cretaceous, experiences a time of open, partly seasonally dry landscapes. River courses meander with broad gravel beds through the plains, between which islands of conifers and early flowering plants stand. Food grows in bands, not spread uniformly across surfaces. Those who need much must therefore plan long, but even routes. Patagotitan majorum ranks among the largest known sauropods, and is so far the only known species of the genus Patagotitan. Estimations vary between 31 and up to 37 meters in length, and a weight of 55 to 69 tons. The neck extends reach without shifting the body, while the long trunk rests on pillar-like limbs. With each step, the mass swings forward in controlled fashion. Weight meets ground statics. On softer substrates, a sauropod foot spreads the load over a broad area. This keeps foot depressions shallow and the energy loss per meter low. The teeth sit as narrow spatulate elements in the jaws. They pluck and tear, but scarcely crush. Comminution occurs in the digestive tract. So-called gastroliths are likely. Large lung volumes and efficient air sacs support the oxygen budget when it is hot and dusty. With up to 13 meters and roughly 7 tons, Giganotosaurus is one of the largest known theropods of South America and among the largest terrestrial predators of all time. Lighter built than its reputation suggests, with long hind limbs, a large but relatively light skull with a laminar structure to save weight. The jaws bear sharp, laterally flattened teeth made for deep, slicing bites. The bite relies on slicing, not crushing force. A clean, well-guided bite opens tissue along the line of motion. Blood loss and the prey's withdrawal are therefore more likely than an immediate stop. On slopes, Giganotosaurus uses wind and terrain to its advantage. Against the wind, it stays unseen. With the wind, it sees farther. A charge is only worthwhile when terrain, distance, and the condition of a prey animal align, because endurance hunting is seldom efficient at this mass. South America's Cretaceous landscapes mix old conifer forests with angiosperm windows. Seeds, young leaves, and seasonal shoots concentrate the supply in dense rows. Paths cross there without needing to touch. The predator economizes as well. Patagotitan protects itself in a group and does not offer the best odds of hunting success. A carcass on the terrace edge often offers the better opportunity than a risky rush. The scene closes in silence. Patagotitan moves on. Giganotosaurus stands still. No attack, no retreat. Just two bodies distributing the space according to their own rules. North Africa, in the middle to late Cretaceous. Broad deltas and lagoons, tidal channels and periodically flooded floodplains shape the landscape. Vegetation changes in stripes, belts of reeds and rushes, riparian thickets, and behind them, drier areas with conifers and low shrubs. Spinosaurus aegyptiacus is not a runner of the plains, but a hunter of the watercourses. The body says it clearly: a long, narrow snout with closely spaced conical teeth, without serrations for slippery prey, nostrils shifted forward, a powerful forebody for thrust phases, and a laterally flattened, powerful tail as propulsion in the water. The hunt therefore takes place predominantly in the water. Studies from 2022 onward, followed by extensive analyses through 2025, identify the 16 meters long giant as predominantly aquatic. Long phases underwater, swimming and diving behavior as the rule, not the exception. This explains proportions, bone density, and the hydrodynamics of the tail. Weighing 8 tons, he is rather light for a predator his size. The delta is a small world of its own. Flood brings schools into bays and into rootwork. Ebb gathers them in return currents and deeper channels. For a specialized fish hunter, edges such as reed fringes, root meshes, and sand ridges are an invaluable aid. The teeth seize and hold rather than tear out flesh. The bite secures fish bodies across or oblique to the axis, while the nostrils allow breathing close to the surface. Propulsion comes from the tail. The upper body remains stable. The forelimbs help with steering and with pushing off at edges. The back carries a sail of tall neural spines, cumbersome on land, but in water, primarily relevant thermally and dynamically. Heat uptake in the morning, release at midday. North Africa's deltas reveal a dinosaur that does not merely use the water, but inhabits it. Spinosaurus spends the majority of its time beneath the surface, a predominantly aquatic life that folds hunting, rest, and thermoregulation into a single medium. lake districts and volcanically shaped basins with seasonal streams, fringed by ginkgo, conifers, and early flowering plants, characterize Northeast Asia from about 125 to 105 million years ago. Growth at ground level is dense: ferns, horsetails, seed heads, soft shoots. Psittacosaurus is an early ceratopsian, basal, in the line that will later develop horns and a neck frill. It remains small to medium-sized, usually 1.5 to 2 meters, with a beak-like snout, powerful jaws, and leaf-shaped teeth for plant matter. Juveniles move more on all fours, adults often bipedally on the longer hind legs. The jaws work like shears, the beak at the front for snipping, behind it tooth fields for comminution. Stones are fossily documented. They help grind tough plant parts in the digestive tract. The region provides a mixed menu: seeds, young leaves, soft shoots, at times harder material in dry phases. Near the water's edge, food is denser and richer in moisture. At the forest margin, early sprouts offer fresh forage. Characteristic for Psittacosaurus are small, lateral cheek bosses and, in some finds, a row of bristles along the tail. Neither are weapons, rather signaling and display elements that may have played a role in group communication or courtship. Exceptionally well-preserved specimens show skin impressions, pigment patterns, and counter-shading. One specimen even preserves the outer shape of the cloaca. Rare insights into soft tissue anatomy confirm the ground-level lifestyle. Finds with juveniles near a larger individual suggest periods of group proximity. More eyes mean more vigilance, and thus extend time spent feeding at ground level. Psittacosaurus stays where others pass through, on the ground, in the mesh of fern and shrub. Beak, teeth, body size, everything fits what grows, not what flees. Those who feed in groups feed longer. Those who remain small find cover more often. Australia, in the early to middle late Cretaceous, shows shallow inland waters, floodplains with ferns and early flowering plants, and beyond them, open plains. A few dozen kilometers farther, an epicontinental sea opens, the Eromanga Sea, with sand and carbonate shelves. Muttaburrasaurus langdoni is a medium-sized ornithopod that reached a length of about 7 to 9 meters and a weight of several tons. The head ends in a powerful beak-shaped mouth. Behind it sit rows of leaf-shaped teeth. Unlike later hadrosaurs, it carried no highly developed battery, but sufficient series to process fibrous plants efficiently. The jaw cuts in front and disassembles behind. Gastroliths are conceivable, yet the main work is still done by the tooth row. The torso is deep, the hind limbs long and carry most of the distance. Striking is the enlarged nasal region. It is discussed as a resonance chamber, possibly for acoustic signals within groups, or as an enlarged soft tissue compartment with a sensory function. What is certain is that the skull was weighted differently than in slender runners. The neck works as a steady arm for precise head movements in the understory. Out at sea, away from the coast, a shadow moves beneath the water surface. Here hunts Chronosaurus, a large pliosaur with a length of 9 to 11 meters. It has a short neck, a massive skull, and strongly conical teeth without serrations, features that serve to grasp and hold slippery prey, as is also the case in Spinosaurus. Chronosaurus's bite acts like a hook, seize, twist, and tear through the shearing force of the jaws and body rotation. 4 powerful paddles provide thrust and agility. The short tail stabilizes. The Eromanga Sea is an epicontinental shallow sea with changing visibility. Turbid water alternates with clear sections, so Chronosaurus relies on hearing and the perception of pressure waves. Prey includes larger fish, squids, and smaller marine reptiles. Seasonally, schools concentrate in bays and lagoons and provide dense food there. Two stages, one system. On land, Muttaburrasaurus wins through routine, reach in the understory, and a well-tuned group dynamic. In the water, Chronosaurus dominates through angle, grip, and short, precise bursts. 5 regions, 5 answers to the same question. How does one use space without exhausting it? The Earth 100 million years ago is not a place of constant escalation, but of reliable distances. Nodosaurus under leaves, Spinosaurus between sun and water, Patagotitan in the height of the leaves, Giganotosaurus at the edge, Psittacosaurus in the near realm of seeds, Muttaburrasaurus at the shore, and out in the blue, Chronosaurus.